Let's journey back to the very beginning, to a time before stars, before galaxies, before anything we can readily comprehend. 13.8 billion years ago, our universe as we know it burst into existence. This is the age of the cosmos, a vast expanse of time stretching from the unimaginable past to the ever-evolving present. Everything, space, time, matter, all the fundamental forces that govern the universe, and every single element that makes up everything we see around us, was compressed into a single, unimaginably dense point, far smaller than even the tiniest subatomic particle we can observe today. A singularity, a point of infinite density and temperature, where the laws of physics as we understand them simply break down. There was no before, because time itself began here. The singularity marks the very origin of space-time, the fabric of the universe. Then, the Big Bang. Not an explosion in space, but a rapid expansion space itself. Imagine the universe inflating like a balloon, growing exponentially in a fraction of a second. In an instant, the universe unfurled, expanding at a rate that defies comprehension, carrying energy and matter outward, spreading the seeds of everything that would eventually come to be. As it expanded, it cooled, the intense heat of the initial moments gradually dissipating, allowing the first particles, protons and neutrons, to form from the cooling energy. These are the building blocks of all the atoms in the universe. These combined into the nuclei of hydrogen, the simplest and most abundant element, helium, and a trace of lithium, created in the immediate aftermath of the Big Bang. For hundreds of thousands of years, the universe continued to expand and cool. The universe was a hot, opaque fog, a plasma of charged particles constantly interacting with light, where light couldn't travel freely, constantly scattered by the dense plasma. Eventually it cooled enough for electrons to join nuclei, forming stable neutral atoms, forming the first atoms of hydrogen and helium. Suddenly, the fog cleared as the universe transitioned from opaque to transparent, and light was set free, able to travel unimpeded across the vast distances of space. An event called recombination, marking a pivotal moment in the history of the universe. This ancient light, the cosmic microwave background, or CMB for short, is the oldest light we can detect, a relic of the early universe. It's a faint afterglow, a whisper from the dawn of time, a snapshot of the universe's infancy, providing invaluable clues about its origin and evolution. From this beginning, matter clumped together, drawn together by gravity, forming stars, igniting the first light in the darkness. Galaxies, vast collections of stars, gas and dust, began to take shape. And eventually, us, a product of billions of years of cosmic evolution. The Big Bang theory is supported by this ancient light, the CMB, and the ongoing expansion of the universe, observed through the redshift of distant galaxies. It's our best scientific explanation for how everything began, a framework built upon decades of observation and theoretical research. The story of the cosmos starts with a single extraordinary moment, a moment that continues to shape our universe today. Now let's shift from cosmic origins to a different kind of beginning. The story told in the Holy Bible. The Bible is Christianity's sacred scripture, a collection of texts that guide faith, morality, and the search for meaning. It's divided into the Old Testament, shared with Judaism, and the New Testament, centered on the life and teachings of Jesus Christ. The Bible is not a single book, but a library written by many authors over centuries. Its earliest stories were passed down orally before being written in Hebrew and Aramaic. The Old Testament took shape over nearly 1,000 years, its canon finalized just before the time of Jesus. The New Testament was written in Greek within decades after Jesus' death, but its contents weren't officially set until the 4th century. These texts were chosen by communities who saw them as inspired and authoritative. For believers, the Bible's long formation is seen as guided by God, shaping a sacred story that endures. Genesis, the first book of the Bible, opens with the profound statement, "In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth." These words set the stage for a narrative that has shaped cultures and beliefs for millennia. It describes creation in a structured sequence of 6 days, a divinely orchestrated process that brings order to the cosmos. With light appearing first, banishing the darkness and illuminating the void. This initial act of creation is fundamental to the Genesis account. This is followed by the formation of the sky, the separation of land from water, and the emergence of life in its myriad forms, each step carefully planned and executed. In stark contrast, the Big Bang theory tells a different story, a universe born not from divine decree, but from a hot, chaotic, and infinitely dense state, an event that defies easy comprehension. This universe has been evolving over billions of years, expanding and cooling, giving rise to galaxies, stars, and eventually, life itself. Genesis is fundamentally theological, focusing on the purpose of creation, the meaning of humanity's existence, and our relationship with the divine. The Big Bang, on the other hand, is a scientific model, meticulously constructed to explain the physical processes that have shaped the universe. The timescales and sequences of events differ dramatically between these two accounts, reflecting their distinct approaches. Yet, despite their differences, both Genesis and the Big Bang theory grapple with the same fundamental question of origins. How did everything begin? Genesis seeks to answer the questions of who is responsible for creation and why it was created, delving into the realm of divine intention. Science, through the Big Bang and other models, asks how the universe came to be and when these events occurred, focusing on measurable and testable phenomena. Each narrative employs its own unique language, its own framework of understanding, to explore the profound mystery of existence. Together, Genesis and the Big Bang offer distinct, yet complementary perspectives on the ultimate question of where everything began, inviting us to consider the origins of the universe from both a spiritual and a scientific viewpoint. Despite differences in approach and language, both Genesis and the Big Bang theory fundamentally agree on one key aspect of existence. They both point to the idea that the universe had a beginning, a definitive starting point. This is a profound similarity. Both describe an initial moment of creation, a genesis if you will, from which everything else unfolded. Genesis's poetic declaration, "Let there be light," finds a parallel in the Big Bang's theorized flash of energy, the rapid expansion from an infinitely small point. Each story, in its own way, moves from chaos and formlessness to order and structure, from an initial state of simplicity to the incredible complexity we observe today. Genesis separates light from darkness, water from land, establishing fundamental divisions. Similarly, cosmology describes the universe evolving and differentiating, from a hot, uniform, primordial soup to the structured galaxies, stars, and planets we see scattered across the cosmos. These parallels are thematic, offering a framework for understanding, and should not be taken as literal scientific mappings, but they undeniably show humanity's shared and enduring quest to understand our origins and place within the grand scheme of the universe. The specific details of these stories don't map perfectly onto each other, of course, but both reflect our fundamental human search for meaning and purpose in the vastness of the cosmos. Looking for echoes and resonances between faith and science, between ancient narratives and modern discoveries, can ultimately enrich our understanding of both the spiritual and the physical realms. In the end, we have two powerful narratives, science and faith, each offering unique insights. The Big Bang explains how the universe began. Genesis explores why it exists. For many, these stories are not rivals, but complementary ways of knowing. Science reveals the mechanics of creation. Faith addresses purpose and meaning. The journey to understand our origins continues, inviting us to keep questioning and exploring. Whether through telescopes or sacred texts, our search for answers is a testament to human wonder.